Welcome to the number one build-up show for the Betfred Super League round number 13. In-depth analysis, passionate debate and predictions. It's time for the Captain's Run. Yes, good evening one and all. Super League is back, round number 13, of course, on the way. And today we've got Craig Forth with us, our Wigan Warriors member. Hello, Craig. How are you?
I'm good, mate. How's yourself?
Very good, very good. Have you come down from Wembley yet?
I don't think it'll take a while for me to come down from that win. That great day for the Wigan Warriors, both men's and women's team getting the Challenge Cups.
Indeed it was. But it's all things now Super League. And as we said on Weekly this week, all roads now lead to the League Leaders' Shield. The race is now on. The fixtures this weekend, of course, tonight, the Leeds Rhinos take on the Saints at Headingley. That should be a belting game. Then 3 games on Friday. Warrington hosting Hull FC. Bradford take on York Knights. Castleford Tigers up against the Leigh Leopards. And then Saturday, it's the Huddersfield Giants against Toulouse Olympique. Wakefield Trinity take on Hull KR. And then, of course, the anniversary clash of course, 30 years ago. Where's that gone? Against Catalans against Wigan. That'll be some game as well. So they're the fixtures that we've got to look forward to this weekend. Before we get into them, let's take a look at where we left the league table. Of course, the Giants still bottom of the table on 14th. They're playing Toulouse, who are in 13th, of course. So an opportunity there, maybe for Huddersfield at home this weekend. Knights, Bulls, Hull FC, Tigers, and of course then the Catalan Dragons. The top 7 teams. The Leopards now just 2 points behind the Wigan Warriors in 6th. Then it's Trinity, 2 points ahead of them, as 2 of the Robins on 16. Then it's Saints and the Wolves and the Rhinos all sitting pretty on 18 points apiece. Right, let's take a look, Craig, at the next 5 fixtures. Something a little bit different for this week's Captain's Run. And some teams have got some really tricky running in the next 5 weeks. I think Steph said maybe on the last Captain's Run that he felt that between now and maybe even Magic, by the end of Magic, we might see a little bit of moving and shaking in the league table. The Leeds Rhinos, some tricky fixtures in there for them. Of course, Saints tonight, the Wolves in a couple of weeks, and then Hull KR. So they're going to be tested, aren't they, in the next 5 weeks?
Yeah, the Leeds definitely are. Again, it's comes some proper top opposition for them both. Both all level on points in the top 3 as well between Saints and Warrington. So, and then Hull KR straight after that. So it's not an easy run for the Leeds Rhinos.
No, the Wire, they've got, of course, Hull FC. You feel that they need to win that because after that it's Saints and then the Rhinos. You've got Catalan Dragons and then Leigh. So a really tricky looking set of fixtures for Warrington on the horizon. They'll want to get 2 points on Friday night for sure. As for St Helens, they've got Leeds, Warrington again, and then they've got the Giants, the Bulls, and of course at Magic they've got Wigan Warriors. So again, I think all of these sides are playing enough teams in the top 6 or 7 to suggest that Steph is right. There could be some severe moving in the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, this is where, as Steph said, by the end of Magic, we will see who is going to be running out on top. Like I said, they're all pretty much playing each other out. They're certainly 1, 2, and 3. It is some very tough fixtures coming up. I think Saints look like they might have a slightly easier run with Bradford and Huddersfield in there, but it's still nothing's a given now in Super League, as Castleford showed against St Helens the other week.
No, it's going to be interesting to see how KR go against Wakey after the disappointment of the cup. Then they've got York. Then it's Leigh. Then it's Leeds. Then it's Hull FC for them. Wakey, of course. Well, you can see it there. Their next 2 games, KR and Wigan. 2 tricky fixtures there for sure. Wigan, of course, they've got Saints at Magic. We'll get to that down the track as well. But I think, if we go to the bottom half of the table, and in terms of some of these teams and the fixtures that they've got to look forward to, straight away I'm looking at Hull FC there. Warrington, Wakefield, Wigan and KR, 4 of the next 5 for them. Of course, Huddersfield in the middle. That looks tricky for FC.
It's very tricky for Hull FC, and it doesn't seem to get any easier, does it? With any of their injuries, with obviously Aiden with his suspension as well, so that they are really light on numbers, and these fixtures are just not getting any easier for Hull FC, and this is going to be a real test for them now to see how they can show the resolve.
Yeah, I think they've got the toughest next 5 for sure of FC. It'll be interesting to see where they are come the end of these next 5. But yeah, I just thought we'd have a quick look at what's on the horizon. It's a pretty decent shuffle for all the teams, really, in terms of who they've got to look forward to. Right, okay. We always go in reverse order. Of course, none of the teams have been announced yet for Sunday. This is the tail of the tape as far as Catalan Dragons and the Wigan Warriors are concerned. It's 8th against 6th, of course, on Saturday evening. 2 wins from the last 5 for the Catalan Dragons, 2 wins in the last 5 for the Wigan Warriors, which is interesting. But by all means, take out of these stats what you will. What we do know is, of course, is there'll be no Bevan French, there will be no Harry Smith in this game. Do you expect young Marsden to deputise alongside Fireman, or do you think Kieran will go back into the halves?
I'd like to think we'll give Marsden the opportunity to go. I think Kieran's been playing fantastic in the centre. He was much better in the centre than he was when he did go into the halves against Castleford. So I'm hoping Marsden can show his opportunity to shine against Catalans, because again, that is a very tricky fixture for the Wigan Warriors, especially after the euphoria of the Cup.
Yeah, of course, there's been no mention of this being organised the week after the Challenge Cup, considering all the hoo-ha that we had between the Hull KR Wigan fixture the week before. Do you find that quite surprising that nothing's been mentioned as to the arrangement of this game?
It is a bit strange that it's not been mentioned. It is a big fixture. It's something that's been organised. It does seem to have Chris Redlinski's fingerprints all over this one. I do feel that this should have been more of a magic fixture for Catalans and Toulouse rather than Wigan going. I thought that'd have probably had a bit more of an appeal for the French audience. But it is a shame that it's not being mentioned as much. But then I think this was planned last year when it was first announced that we're going to Paris. So I can imagine that obviously they wanted to get the cup out of the way and then just treat the rest of the league as they take it.
Interesting. Well, look, things look in favour, I would say, for Wigan Warriors in this. They won the last 4 away games at the Catalan Dragons. Catalan's last win was all the way back in 2022, and they actually nil Wigan on that occasion, 28 points to nil, which is interesting. Of course, they've also had a couple. Well, a game at Old Trafford. Let's not forget that. That was all the way back in 2023. Wigan running out 10-2 winners in a really close game, very close game that time around. What do you think the impact of the Challenge Cup final will have on Wigan to be going to Paris the week after?
It's going to have a lot of, especially for the travelling. They've had the trip all the way down to London, then it's probably back up to Wigan for a bit of maybe something celebration with the family, then it's back all the way down to Paris. So the travelling will have an effect on Wigan. Catalans, of course, had the week off, which is a big bonus to them. Obviously, Wigan playing in very high temperature game against a very competent Hull KR. And regards to the scoreline, certainly for the first half, it was a very tight contest last week.
Yeah, well, Liam Farrell, if he was to go over on Saturday, it'd be his 150th try for the Wigan Warriors in this one. I mean, the tail of the tape, as we're looking at it on the screen for the purposes of the podcast, as you'd expect, favours Wigan. The average points scored, 20 for Catalan, 25 for Wigan. Average conceded, 28 for Catalan, 22 for Wigan, which is quite high, I have to say. Of course, that's not been helped by what happened at KR 2 weeks ago, of course. History tells you that Catalan will go into this as underdog and Wigan will go in as favourite. All the KPIs suggest that Wigan should be too strong for the Catalan Dragons. Of course, we haven't seen the squads. Will Lewis Dodd be back? We don't know at this stage. We know that the spine of Catalan has been good. And when they've turned it on this season, they've looked a handful. But equally, they've had some pretty shocking performances. Wakefield away being one of those a couple of weeks back as well. From your perspective, which way do you see this going and by how many?
I'm going to go Wigan, but probably not by a lot. I'd probably say maybe 10 points in this one. Because obviously we have got the Cartwright for now in Catalans. That's obviously a different factor because he'll have a bit more time with the club to work on them and see what they can do. I do think Wigan will still have a bit too much in the tank for Catalan Dragons on this occasion, but I still think it won't be a walkover. This one, Wigan will know they've been in the game at the end of it.
Well, the bookies have gotten 4-11 favourites, Catalan 2-1. I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to go Catalan by 10. I don't know why I'm going Catalan by 10. It might be that I need points on the predicting league. I don't know, but I just don't know. I think that if Catalan, by doing this, of course, before the squads have been announced, we're not quite sure who it's going to be. But if their spine is there, I think Cruz Lehman will be wanting to prove a point as well in this one against Wigan. I'd have to say that if he's playing. So, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to go Catalan by 10. We'll see. We'll see how that one pans out. Something tells me I won't be right, but anyway, let's. You've got to have a bit of fun in these days. Right. In terms of what I think this game, the next game, obviously again, KR off the back of a real hammering at the weekend. We don't know what the score is going to be in terms of Mikey Lewis. Of course, we know there'll be no Dean Hadley. Jai Whitbread will return, of course, you would expect for the Robins. But Wakefield have been in really good form. The pack of Wakefield has been playing very, very well. Kaius Vaitilli, of course, won our Player of the Month for May on Weekly yesterday. And, of course, Trey Larcio was on the bench in our Team of the Month, which tells you how well that pack's been playing. And that's before you get to Hamlin Ueli. So a lot of good strength in the middle unit. And that was an area where, let's be fair, at Wembley, KR surprisingly got bullied by Wigan down the middle. They're coming up against an equally formidable pack. How impressed have you been with the middle unit at Wakefield this year?
Oh, they've been fantastic. They've just been a unit that is just pushing through, and it's not many props can score a hat trick like Vaitilli did the other week. He's getting better as well. Scored against Toulouse as well in the last round. So they have got the potency and the skill to absolutely punch through. And I think they will be hurting from last week, and I think there'll be something they'll be wanting to work on and preparing themselves for this very confident Wakefield team. So the worst thing for Hull KR, you could say, for this Wakefield team is that they're going to be coming in with a lot of confidence after the recent performances.
Yeah, Wakefield have won 3 in the last 5, 5 in the last 5 in Super League for Hull KR. But like I say, when you consider, 3 in the last 5, and some of those performances have been pretty strong as well. Certainly the one against Catalans, that was an exceptional performance. And if they can get to those levels against KR, who had a very tricky game last week, and I think there'll be quite a few bruised bodies, if Wakefield could muster a performance of that quality, I think KR could be in trouble.
I definitely think there could be. Going to the DIY kitchen is not an easy place to go either. It's becoming a bit of a fortress for them. So it's got to be something where KR are going to have to really up the game again and dust themselves off and see what they can do against this very confident Wakefield team. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, looking across the tail of the tape, again, it's advantage KR. They're scoring more points. They're conceding less points than Wakefield. Disappointingly for Wakefield, the conversion percentage only 57%. That's pretty poor. 82% for Hull KR. So they've got that in the locker as well. Other key stats in there is the offloading. Again, the second phase of Wakey, when they get it right, they're very easy on the eye, like they were against Catalans. But because they're so, expansive, they do like to keep the ball alive. That can affect them. And 125 errors this season thus far for Wakefield. And this is what I mean. If Wakefield are in top form, top gear, I think, like I say, keeping the ball alive, it could be a very tricky fixture this for KR. That said, if Wakey are off and KR are at their best, then for me, I can only see it going one way.
Oh yeah, definitely. When KR are firing on all cylinders, they're almost impossible to play against, and they can really wrap these teams up. It's just obvious for Wakefield to try and do what they can do against KR, what they have been doing against Catalans and Toulouse, and see if they can bully them and get the ball out wide and round. But with the likes of Jez Litton, who'll be playing, he's going to take the game straight to Wakefield, so they're going to have to make sure that they're fully prepared for what he's going to be starting to throw at them. And of course, again, the question is, Mikey Lewis, did he injure his ankle, or is he going to be okay and fit to play at his usual standard?
I can't see how he can recover from that. I think there was certainly some sort of damage there, the way he was hobbling. I'd be very surprised indeed if Mikey Lewis, he might be named in the 21. I'd be very surprised if he was playing, but we'll have to wait and see. You're right about Litton. Of course, the most dummy runs in Super League have come via Jez, 115 for KR this year. Only 65 for Wakefield. I mean, Tyson Smoothie, for me, I think he needs to step up. And this is a game where, I mean, a lot of rumours he's heading back, of course, to the NRL at the end of the season. This is a game where, a grand final winner, he's come with a lot of flowers as Tyson Smoothie. These are the type of games where, for me, he's got to really stand up and be counted.
Oh, 100%. He's got the capabilities. When we've seen some of these games, I don't think this is no disrespect, I don't think he's shown that style every week, but when he has been, he's been phenomenal, and he's just been a wonder to watch. And so if he's going to have to bring that again to Hull KR, because Hull KR they'll be hurting from Wembley.
Yeah, I think they will be, and I think that's probably what's going to get KR over the line. I do see it very tight, though. I'm only going KR by 8. I think this is going to be a real grind, and it could easily go Wakey's way for me. I think if Wakey, like I say, can get that Catalan form, then for me, I could see a Wakey win. But KR they're on an incredible winning streak in Super League at the moment. They've just been proper battered at Wembley, and they will react to that as champions do. And I think for me, it's going to be in the mire for a long time. But I think KR will just about get the job done by 8. Where do you see it?
I'm thinking KR, they will want to take the game. They're going to play fast. They're going to play hard. But Wakefield, I think they've got a good unit to slow them down slightly. But I will say KR by about 4. I think it is going to be a very tight game.
Yeah, that's the way I'm seeing it. I do feel that they'll give him a real good run for the money. 11-10, Wakefield Trinity, 4-6 on Hull KR. So the odds tell you as well that even the bookies think that this is going to be a pretty tight affair. Right, let's now go to for what I think is a must-win game for Huddersfield Giants against Toulouse Olympique. Of course, it's 14th taking on 13th, bottom taking on second bottom. This is a game, and I said in weekly to Joel, this is a game for me that Huddersfield have to win. They have to win, and I know that you boys are going down there for the day at Dewsbury, and you're going to be keeping Joel and the lads company down there. But I just think that if Huddersfield are going to evade the wooden spoon in 2020, what year are we in? 6. I think this is a game they have to win. They have to win, and you were down there last year when they went to Dewsbury for Wigan, and they very, very nearly got Wigan. Wigan did not like the experience of playing at Dewsbury against Huddersfield. Toulouse, of course, will be used to going to Dewsbury, of course, having only just come up from the Championship. But like I say, I think it'll be a better atmosphere for Huddersfield. I think the fans will be heard a lot more at Dewsbury like they were against Wigan. Do you agree with me that this is almost a must-win for Huddersfield?
Oh, 100%. This is a must-win for Huddersfield. To be fair, I think it's almost a bit of a must-win for Toulouse as well, because obviously if they want to catch up with the rest of the Super League and makes more of an impact, but definitely Huddersfield need to really start clicking into gear now. And the pitch at Dewsbury is a bit more narrow, so it does suit Huddersfield's bigger pack, which is what helps them against Wigan. Again, very last-second moment for Wigan there last year, but it was very tight. And again, you're right, the crowd is going to be there. It's more inclusive for the fans to go see us, and it's going to be a lot more interesting for Huddersfield. I've got to think that this has got to be Huddersfield's time to shine now, because if they don't win this game, they are going to be struggling for the rest of the season. But now that the coach has had an extra week again with the team to try and put something in place, this is definitely their time. They've got to get a result now.
I mean, there's no doubt Toulouse's attack has looked stronger this year. We've seen some nice moments from Toulouse, Ligue being one of them. I mean, Ollie Ashelbot going back to Huddersfield, the team that he played for, he has been in impeccable form all season. I think you, like me, I'm amazed that he has not been in that top 10 for the Man of Steel. I mean, and people have said, but he's playing for Toulouse in the second bottom. It doesn't matter. Ollie Ashelbot has been exceptional at fullback this season. If he had a better cast around him, it'd be surprising what he could do. He'll be well up for this game, and that's where the danger is for me for Huddersfield. If they can close Ashelbot down, that pretty much takes away from me 40% of the threat.
Oh, definitely. Ashelbot is so key to Toulouse, and he is what he can do is fantastic. He's phenomenal to watch, and obviously, again, he's safe the Man of Steel score on there, and not being in the top 10 is criminal. To be fair, he's one of the best backs playing at the minute. When you work out on the stats, he's just been phenomenal, and how he's bringing the game back is or bringing the ball back from deep is just so impressive, and his skill to do what he's done is just fantastic to watch. But on the flip side as well, Gagai as well, he's having a good season with this when you look at his stats, so it could be quite interesting to see how they both perform in this situation.
Yeah, I agree. I think Gagai, he's been good in patches. I'd go as far to say that. But just to crystallise, Ollie, 9 tries this season, 4 try assist. He's carried the ball 208 times, making 1,574 metres, 82 tackle busts, 9 clean breaks this season. He really has been a handful all year. He has been unbelievable, and that is what Huddersfield have got to try and contain. It's going to be interesting to see Jim Lenihan's initial game, and this is his first real hit out with his squad. I think for him, he'll have enjoyed that week off, and I'm pretty confident the Huddersfield Giants have got quite a bit of training done and a lot of video done over the last 2 weeks, because there's a lot of surgery that's been required there, a lot of basics that need sorting out. I mean, defensively, you look there, Toulouse 5 points better per game in defence than Huddersfield, and that's a concern. To be conceding 30 points a game, Huddersfield this season, that is, well, it's bottom of the league form. There's no doubt about it. If you're conceding that amount of points, you're clearly going to be in trouble, and they are. I think the Huddersfield Giants fans are going to want to see some sort of reaction from the players, but also almost something that they can visually see on the field of play in terms of an improvement.
Yeah, definitely. I remember back earlier in the year when we all first met up and went down to Huddersfield, and I remember saying to Joel, one of the problems you saw with Huddersfield, and it was happening so many games, was that there was just getting a tackle done and then just letting the opposition just run towards them when they was in defence. They weren't closing them down. When they started to do that, they started to get some of the results that they have done, but Huddersfield need to have a bit of an attitude change. They need to get stronger in defence. They need to start backing each other up, and they need to start wrapping people up in the tackle as well. So it's not allowing so many offloads. But again, 30 points, as you said, 30 points against is ridiculous, and that's not a winning. No team's going to win when they're doing that at all. And Huddersfield now, they've got this opportunity, especially playing a team that's similar league position, because again, to lose 25 average points is still that's shipping quite a few points. They need to now take this bull by the horns and really go with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, one of the stats that Toulouse wouldn't want is that they are the highest error-making team in Super League. So that tells you a lot. And even Ollie, he's had 16 errors this year. So, Huddersfield should be buoyed by that if they put them under pressure, they can cough the ball up, can Toulouse Olympique. That said, of course, they're not far behind them themselves with 122 errors this season. It's a fascinating game. It really is. The bookies have got Huddersfield favourite, which is quite surprising when you consider this season. I think Toulouse have looked more robust in defeat than Huddersfield have, if I'm being perfectly honest. So that has surprised me. Toulouse 2-1. The bookies have got them. Back in 2022 when Toulouse were here last time, it was 17-16 to Huddersfield. This fixture, I think it could be another close one as well. Come this Saturday, your thoughts on this one on the score?
I think I don't know why, but I do think Toulouse could actually just get this game. I think it'll be Toulouse by probably about 8. I think I'm going to go Toulouse by 8 to win this one.
I'm going Huddersfield by 10. I just think that it just needs to happen. And I think the fact they're going to Dewsbury, the fact that, of course, the new coach's first game, if they can't get a reaction for this game, I really do worry for Huddersfield for the rest of the season. I really do. I think this is the game where they've got to register a win. And I'm going to back them. I'm going to the Cowbell Army have got my support. I'm going to go by 10. But yeah, interesting. We've both gone different directions on that one. Both went to KR. Different directions on the other two. Right, let's get into the Friday fixtures, and we'll start here. Castleford Tigers taking on the Leigh Leopards. Castleford Tigers, of course, last time out, a superb win against the Saints, an incredible win against the Saints. They will be buoyed by that. Leigh Leopards, of course, they've been getting progressively better, I would say, as players have come back. But as you will see, there are big holes there, Craig, in the Leopards squad. I mean, look, Castleford are still without a lot of key personnel. We know that they've been struggling all season. Jack Brown, of course, a welcomed addition to their squad going into this game, of course. But when you look at the Leigh Leopards, you'll see it there. Brand, of course, we know he's gone for the season. No Yamila Hanley, that's a massive blow. And also Tessie New. So they're going to have to move and shake. Probably Bailey Hodgson will probably play in the centres, more than likely alongside Jack Hughes. So there's no doubt in the centre positions, they have been weakened there, have the Leopards, and also no Owen Trout. So they're 3 massive absentees, aren't they, for League? They'll be disappointed, the Leopards fans, because it looked as if they were getting the personnel back. But when this squad landed, if our WhatsApp group's anything to go by, the Leopards fans are scratching their head going, when are we going to get a break? Yeah,
obviously they're struggling with some of their injuries at the minute, and it's kind of showing the league position, to be fair, because I think all of us was expecting Leigh to really be kicking on this year. I mean, this still halfway through, so there's still halfway to go, but this is a big chance now, especially for for Leigh to see what they can do and show in the squad depth. And I think it's a good chance as well to get Gaz O'Brien back on the pitch, because obviously he has got a bit of a better boot than Adam Cook showing. So that could actually be one of the key differences for Leigh at this moment in time.
Well, you're suggesting that he might leave Cook out and bring O'Brien back at 6?
I don't know if he'll bring him out, but if they obviously only got one winger, do they take Armstrong onto the wing and then bring Gaz O'Brien back to fullback?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a good job. I mean, obviously they've got in his senior, so in his senior he'll either play centre or wing. I think that Bailey Hodgson, he looked better in the centre positions for me against FC. I thought when he came on, and again against KR, I thought he looked good in the centre. Did Hodgson? So maybe in his senior he'll be put out for a bit of genuine pace on the edge. Potentially, I don't know. I mean, is AJ Towles there? He's not, is he? Because of course AJ Towles was a player that they've been putting out there as well. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. I think he's got to put Senior out there for me. Some genuine pace on the edge, and he'll probably go Hughes and Hodgson in centre. I mean, look, Castleford have got their own issues. No Joe Westerman, no Liam Hood, no Fletcher Rooney. We know that. Jensen Winley's in there. Jack Brown's in there. Michele Mavalawa, he's out of the squad. George Hurst, he's banned. So too is Semi Valamay. So they've got their own problems. Because Jack Brown coming in is a bonus for them. But we mustn't forget how impressive they were against St Helens. Now the question with Castleford is, can they back that up? Because they've had some of these freak wins this season, where against Wigan away, Saints at home, where you've sat back and gone, what's just happened there? It's just beggared all belief, hasn't it? So we know when it clicks, we know that they can catch teams cold. That said, I think Leigh, they're starting to make this. They understand now that there's not many losses left if they're going to make the top 6. They've got to find some consistency. The top 6 will, of course, drop points, as will they between now and the end of the season. But these are games where, at the end of the campaign, if you've missed out on a top 6, this is a fixture, if you've lost it, where you can point to and say, that's why we're not in the playoffs this year, because we didn't win at Castleford away. And that's no disrespect to Castleford, but that's just the reality. Castleford, I don't think the most ardent Castleford fan would see them as a top 6 team this year. Therefore, they are fodder for those who do see themselves as top 6. And that's the way the Leopards need to see this.
Yeah, I agree. And it is a shame that Castleford are being seen almost as these games, especially where they've flipped over some of the big teams. I think for me, the pressure is now on Leigh to support this, because I think because Castleford have done what they need to do, now they need to support and back up what the last game. It is a massive, massive fixture now for Castleford and for Leigh to show what they can do. And let's be fair, a few weeks ago, I probably wouldn't be thinking this would be as interesting as it would be. And it's all interesting now to see as well, Leigh missing a few players, travelling. How will he perform against Castleford in that tight pitch that they've got at the Wombo?
Absolutely. George Lawler's going to be making his 100th appearance for Castleford. I think Lawler's been in great form for Castleford, certainly when he's played in the second row. He'll make his 100th this weekend. Josh Charnley, of course, just 2 behind Ryan Hall as well as the games kick off. And again, when you consider who Leigh have got, and I know it's away and I know it's at Castleford, Leeds have got Saints. Be interested to see what the gap on that is come the end of the weekend. In terms of the tail of the tape, only 2 places separate them, which is incredible, really. Leigh 7th, Castleford 9th. 3 wins from the last 5 for Castleford. Fair play to them. 4 wins from the last 5 for the Leopards. Just that loss to KR, which, let's be fair, they very nearly took that one as well. So they are in good form, the Leopards. But the averages, Leigh, have conceded more than they've scored on an average this season, which is something that you probably wouldn't have thought at the start of the year. But they have got the edge in terms of their defence is stronger. Yeah, I mean, anything from that really sticking out for you? I mean, it looks to me as if it is tight, as the league positions would suggest, but Leigh seems to be on the right end of most of those KPIs.
Yeah, definitely. And in a lot of cases, it's only just better than Castleford in this one. I think the main one for me, obviously, is Josh Charnley. If he can get a break, he's going to be the key impact player. And Butman Papalangi is having a great season as well, and so is PLT. I think that this is, like I say, you look at the errors, it's 111 for Castleford, 109 for Leigh, and it is just so close. But I think the key and worrying stat for the Leigh Leopards is that conversion rate of only being 58%. And if the game is going to be tight, and if Castleford are going to win this game, it could be on missed conversions from the Leigh Leopards.
Well, the good news is it's a smaller pitch, so that might help a little bit in that respect. But yeah, there's no doubt, and Adrian Lamb said it after the Hull FC game, that is a major concern now. And I agreed with, I think he hinted at it. I think when Yamala Hanley approached Adam Cook in what looked for a kicker would have been a straightforward kick. I know nothing's been straightforward for Adam Cook this year, but Adrian Lamb didn't say it the way I'm going to say it, but I think it was probably what he was trying to say without really throwing him under a bus. But the bottom line is he wants to see character. He wants to see backbone. He wants to see Adam Cook saying, get on your bike, I'm the kicker. That little bit of, no, yeah, go on then, mate. It just didn't look right, feel right. And, Adam Cook was brought in for his kicking. And we all know that, before he came over, Adam Cook's an 80% plusser. And he's, for whatever reason, in a Leopard shirt, he really is finding it very tough. That said, though, Craig, I think his in-game performances have been getting progressively better.
Oh yeah, he's. We was wondering what they bought at the beginning of the season, but then you say around about round 8, round 9, he really started to show his form, and was all praising him as how well he is playing and how he's setting things up for the Leopards. So he's really coming into his game now. It can say it's just that kicking that is letting him down at this moment in time. And like I say, if they let Hanley take that conversion attempt before, I think it must show that his confidence in kicking is being absolutely rocked. So I'm hoping then that for Leigh, that just as this week off, he's taking a bit of time just to go mid-practice and build his confidence back up.
Well, we will but see. Right, which way are you going in by harmony on this one?
I'm thinking, because of this conversion issue, I think Castleford could just pip this by literally 4 points. I think this could be quite a tight game because of missed conversions.
I'm going Leigh by 12. So again, we're going the opposite directions on this one. The odds again, 4-11 Leigh, 2-1 the Castleford Tigers. So so there you go. Craig's going Castleford, I'm going Leigh. I think it'd be a great game. I really do. I think both teams are trying to find consistency. I think both have shown form and have shown some glimpses. But this is all about the 2 points, and looking at the stats as well there at the bottom, both teams this year have had 3 yellow cards apiece. Something tells me there could be a card as well come Friday night. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Right, we now go to Odsal for a game for me which I am intrigued in. I really, really am. Both of these two teams met last year on 3 occasions in the Championship. York 28, Bradford 20. That was in the 1895 Cup semi-final. Bradford 18, York 20 at Odsal. And then York 16, Bradford 14 at the LNER. So as you can see there, almost a score, less than a score, between them over a 3-game period, which suggests that we could be in for a real good quality rugby league tussle on this one. I will get the right one in a moment. There you go. I think it's going to be very, very interesting indeed. In terms of York, I think York will be pleased to have Liam Harris back, the captain. I mean, that's a real bonus for York. And of course, Paul Vaughan, he'll be back. He was rested for HIA purposes the last time out. And also pictured there is Geordie Thompson, who for me, Craig, was in great form before he had to go out with injury.
It really was. This is a game I'm really looking forward to now, because I think both these teams are really starting to show the worth. I think York are really starting to come to form, as are Bradford. I think they've shown these glimpses of what they can do. So again, this York team, I think they've got a lot of character in them, and I think they've got a lot of potential to do really well in this game. And this is a game for both of them. They've been earmarking for a must-win one, and so this is one I'm really looking forward to this week. You've gone on mute, Dave.
I have, yeah. That's because the dog's barking. But anyway, moving on. But yeah, I mean, look, I think this is really, really interesting. We might see Riley Dean making his debut for Bradford, of course, brought in from Oldham, because no Tarnane Milne still for them. Of course, Nick Arima's there. So that's it. And of course, if you look and you cast your eye down the Bradford squad, there's some big returnees, some really big returnees for them this weekend. You'll see that, like I said, I've already mentioned Riley Dean could debut for this game. Luke Hooley back in contention. Joe Mellor is a massive bonus for the Bradford Bulls going into this. Joe Mellor, arguably, right up there in people's reckoning for perhaps a man of steel at 13. His form was that good prior to going out. He's probably lost a bit of ground to other players due to his injury now. But Joe Mello has been in incredible form. Of course, it's signed an extension whilst he's been out as well. And of course, Ryan Sutton is back as well. So for both teams, players returning. No Paul McShane. You might have noticed that Paul McShane's missing. He's going to be out for a few weeks for York. So that's a bit of a blow for them. They've still got Denis Balmforth, of course. But like I say, Bradford there's a lot for them to be happy about. Some really key players, a lot of their, cap players, for want of a better word, back for this one. Do you think that that's going to give advantage to Bradford?
I think it could do on this. They're getting the confidence back, and it's always good to see, again, your main players coming back, and quite a few of them. So this is a really good positive moment for Bradford. I think they can take this one in what should be a bit of a tight game. Obviously, McShane missing is a big blow for York. But again, Balmforth against Catalans, when a few of us went to go watch that game, he was a good showing in that game. But yeah, I think with the confidence coming back, as long as there's not too much rust in these players for returning from injury, I think this could be a very, very interesting, very tight game.
Both have only won one in the last 5, 11th playing 12th, the next to each other in the league. 2-5 on Bradford, 23-10 the York Knights. Again, one thing's for certain, round 13 on paper, it does look as if we're going to have some tight contest, and let's hope that we do from a neutral's perspective. But what's really interesting here for these two is, again, how close they are when they're side by side. Average for the Bulls, 18, 19 for York. Average against, 27 apiece. It couldn't be tighter. It really couldn't. And that's a testament to both teams in terms of they have been competitive. Yes, they've been on the wrong end of results. Bradford, of course, 2 points ahead of York going into this game. But there's not an awful lot in it statistically. Very, very close indeed. Both have had their injury problems. Both have had to try to navigate those injury problems. But yeah, I think the Bulls with those returnees. But again, as you said, it's how fit are those returnees. That's going to be really critical, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Very few players come back and hit the ground running to the usual standard that they did before a long layoff. So it just depends on how fit and ready, match fit and ready these players are for the Bulls. Obviously, the main concern for Bradford really is their error count is quite high compared to York's. So obviously, they're going to have to really work on that as well in this game, where something York could really exploit.
Yeah, do you know what? I can't separate these. I really can't. This is one of those, you just toss a coin and you try and make some sense of it. I think it's really difficult. And you can look back to last year and how close those games were, but there's been a lot of change. A lot of players coming in and out of both squads in that time. I just don't know which way to go with. It really is a case of you could toss a coin and I'd be quite happy with the result. I just cannot split them. I really can't. One thing's for certain, I'm going to put it within. I'm going to go 6. I see it a try, no more than a try either way. I think it looks as if it's going to be that close. And I'm going to give home advantage. I'm going to go the Bulls. I'm going to go the Bulls by 6. Where are you going?
I'm going Bradford by about 6 as well. Again, it's going to be a really, really tight game. But I think that, again, home advantage of Odsal, the crowd and everything else will come back. I think Bradford will just pip this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, a lot of players in good form. I think Joe Mello back. Wonga Blake's been incredible. Absolutely incredible. I think they've got some really good attacking flair. And, of course, even Ryan was there as well, wasn't he? Just double check that. He was, wasn't he? He was in the squad, Ethan Ryan on the wing. Yeah, he was. So, kind of win the other side. So, yeah, they do look in good shape there, Bradford. But I tell you, York aren't going to go away. They're going to test them every step of the way. Right, I'll be doing commentary on rugbyleague.com for this. So, if you fancy alternate commentary on Friday night, I will be live from the Halliwell Jones Stadium doing commentary on rugbyleague.com as Warrington Wolves welcome Hull FC to the HJ for this one. And, of course, last season, Hull FC had a good result against Warrington. In round 7, they went to the Halliwell Jones and won 28 points to 16. They went back there in round 16. Warrington got a 24-10 win. And then in round 26, Hull FC 34, Warrington 2. So like I say, FC had a good result against Warrington last year. No question about that at all. Josh Fulis is in the 21-man squad. A lot of concerns over Josh after the Bradford game. He was hobbling about really badly. As too was Danny Walker, who was holding his ribs throughout a lot of that game. He got hit in the first half, but he's also in the 21-man squad. Absentees for Warrington, of course, still no George Williams. It would still be, you would expect, Ewan Irwin, Mark Sneed, halfback combination. Or will he remain with Leon Hayes? That's another question. Something tells me, no, it will be Sneed. Still absent for Warrington, Luke Yates gone for the season. Still no Jimmy Harrison as well. Sam Stone also absent for Warrington. So Warrington have got quite a few injury concerns, and the man pictured for Warrington on their graphic on social media is Luke Thomas, who had a very strong game, as too did Jamie Gill, which we didn't mention when we were going through the Bradford team. I thought Jamie was outstanding in that and will be a real handful this weekend for the York Knights. As for Hull FC, the big man is pictured again. He was pictured last week, he's been pictured again. Herman Ese'ese, of course, another 2 weeks he's been able to get himself back. Will he play? I've got a sneaky suspicion he might be on the bench for this one. I don't think he comes back as a starting 8. I think he might be, coming off the bench. And I think this could be that game where we see Herman Ese'ese back. You will see there, though, there's 2 changes. No Davy Litton, that's a blow. And no Joe Phillips as well. They've been dropped out. Amir Burra and Matty Laidlaw back in. But the list of absentees, Craig, I mean, it's frightening, really. Will Price, Lewis Martin, Jed Cartwright, John Asiata, James Bell, Sam Lizzoni, Liggy Sow, Brad Fash, Arthur Romano, Connor Bailey, Joe Warden, of course, Yusuf Aydin, and Roman Dawson are suspended. I mean, that is just unprecedented, the amount of injuries and absentees that Hull FC have got. And there's no doubt about it. If Hull FC leave the Halliwell Jones Stadium on Friday night with 2 points, this will be one hell of a result.
Oh, it'd be one of the shocks of the round, to be fair. One of the shocks of the one season. I think Hull FC is that depleted at the minute, and I think there's an awful lot as well as going on with all this shit happened with Cartwright. I think there's a lot of morale issues maybe going on with Hull FC at the minute. I think there's only been Hardacre that you could honestly say, hand on heart, has been an absolute star player for Hull FC. The rest seem to be struggling a little bit, and they've lacked a bit of that killer instinct. So I think SES coming back could be something that gives Hull some real punch down the middle. But for Warrington, I think the week off probably did them a world of good for getting some of these players back, like Danny Walker, winning any ribs or anything like that. I can only really see this game going one way, in all fairness, but I think this is going to be a very interesting game for how Hull start to respond as well, because again, they are playing in front of the next season's coach.
They absolutely are. Of course, Steve McNamara will be greatly interested, especially I think the younger players, the likes of Logan Moy. If one of the Kent boys gets on, I think it'd be interesting to see them having a hit out. And there's no doubt about it. I mean, will he play Aidan Ese'ese? There's another question. Aidan Ese'ese dropped for the game against Leigh. Will he be back on Friday night? We'll have to wait and see on that. Who's going to be the halfback combinations for him? It's going to be very interesting to see the starting lineup for Hull FC. Warrington's probably a little bit easier to suggest who they will have in their starting lineup. Of course, if Josh Fulis isn't fit, we'd expect Lachlan Webster to deputise at full-back for him. I'd expect the three-quarter line for Warrington picks itself. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Sneed and Irwin, and then, of course, it'll just be a plethora of those pack players that go in there. I would expect Thomas certainly to be playing for Warrington. I mean, look, this season's tail of the tape, it should be a straightforward win for Warrington if there's anything like a straightforward win in Super League this year. Warrington have won 4 of the last 5 compared to losing 4 of the last 5 if you are FC. Warrington's firepower double that of Hull FC this season, 32-16, and in terms of average conceded, 15-20 in Warrington's favour as well. So there's some key stats as well. Warrington virtually double the amount of tries this season. Conversions slightly down for Warrington, 77% versus 81%, but you've got to get the tries, of course, for that to matter. Very similar in terms of the busting element of it. Warrington have really become conservative in 2026, not as many offloads. Hull FC 113-86 in that area. The clean breaks, though, the fast rucks that Danny Walker's been doing this year, that has really been helping Warrington get down the field with the likes of Hopawati on his shoulder. 76 clean breaks to 39, and we've got to factor in Warrington have played a game less.
Yeah, and this is something else that is a big key in all these stats, is that there is that one less game, and Hull FC, they've just got something that is severely lacking. I think it is, again, it's confidence, and it's I don't know if it's just attitude in some cases, But I think one of the big facts there as well, errors 84 for Warrington, 126 for Hull FC. And it just shows that Hull FC really have got a lot of to work on regarding their errors. And they almost look like you're relying on Moy and Hardacre to do it all for them. But obviously, something that has worked, seeming for Hull FC's favour, is they've got better discipline in the minute, because Warrington seems to be struggling with that with the yellow cards.
Most yellow cards in Super League is sixth, which is unbelievable, because actually, in terms of penalties, the one of the best. I mean, maybe even the best. I mean, that is a little bit screwed by the fact that they have played a game less. But no, the second least penalties on 63 to Toulouse's 61, KR on 64, of course, also playing a game left. So pro rata, they'd probably be a bit further down with regards to that. But in terms of errors, Warrington are comfortably the least errored side in Super League, 84. The next closest to them is Leigh Leopards on 109. So even when you pro-rata it, Warrington's error count this season has been very, very impressive. That's a real factor, I would say, going into this game. I think just on the fact that the personnel issues that Hull FC have got, Warrington are in good form in Super League. I think Warrington will feel the need to get this one under their belt, because again, going back to where we started the show, when you look at their next 5 games, well, the next 4 after this, they go to Saints, then it's Leeds at home, then it's Catalan at home, and then it's Leigh at Magic. That is a tough 4 fixtures after FC. If they were to go down to FC, that makes it even more of a dilemma in the next 4. And don't get me wrong, all of those other 4 games and the other teams will be thinking the same. You know, that you could toss a coin. It's going to be very fascinating to see who comes out on the right side of all of these close contests when the top 6 go head to head. But if you're Warrington Wolves, you're Sam Burgess, you Steve McNamara, you're looking at this fixture and you're saying, we can ill afford to lose this. We need to get this win and restart building the momentum, because of course those teams that didn't play last week, and even KR, momentum has been lost a little bit, and they'll all want to get on the horse pretty quickly, won't they?
Oh, definitely. And again, if you lose this game, it is a massive hit to the attitude and for the morale of going forward. And it's a big confidence knock as well if you lose to this Hull FC side that have been in very poor form recently. Again, I can only see Warrington winning this one and winning it very comfortably. But then again, with Castleford and St Helens, you never know, a shot could come. But I can't see it from Hull FC. I just think over the last few weeks they've just shown very little flair in attacking when they get towards the line. Not really having a clue how to break the opposition down. Yeah. Okay. So what score are you giving them?
I'm going Warrington by 16. I'm going 18. I'm going 2 more than you. I'm going 18, but I'm with you. I think Warrington should be too strong. If Matty Ashton does play on Friday night, it'll be his 150th career appearance, and Toby King, if he goes over for a try, will score his 100th career try. So that's 2 milestones there for the Primrose and Blue Boys. Right, we now go to tonight's fixture, and that, of course, is Leeds Rhinos taking on the Saints. The squad news is in for both teams. The first thing I want to ask you, Craig, is who plays in centre, Newman or Bird? I mean, Bird might not actually be back. He might be a week out still. But if Bird is fit, then there's no doubt he's in the 17 minimum. So let's have the debate on that premise, that if he is fit, does he come in for Newman, or does Newman retain his place? What's your thoughts?
I'm thinking Newman retains his place. Since he's been on his loan to Hull FC, and since he's come back, he's shown a lot more of his usual self that we're used to from Newman, which is why the NRL have been looking into him. He's just played so much better. I think we've seen that flair. So I think now, Baird, don't get me wrong, he was playing very, very well. But I think Newman's now got his spot back, and I think he's going to make Baird work for it if he wants to take it off him.
It is an interesting one. I don't think it's going to happen. But it's an interesting one, so I'm going to throw it at you. Is this a game where potentially he puts Ash Handley at fullback and brings Bird in alongside Newman?
Yes, I could probably say that. It's a difficult one to call, but like I say, McCormick against Huddersfield, he did have a good game, but obviously this is going to be
Huddersfield.
He had a very good game, but it was Huddersfield. This is Saints.
It's Saints, and it's
a wounded Saints,
and it's putting a marker down. You know, at the end of the day, these two they're in the picture. There's no doubt both of these two are in the picture in terms of playoffs and grand final appearances potential in 2026. So, because it's an improved opposition, I mean, don't get me wrong, if he puts Ferguson in there, what a vote of confidence for the young man. But again, also Riley Lum. Now, it doesn't seem to fancy Lum, and that because for me, Riley Lum's somebody who can go at full back. But we've seen under Brad Arthur, I don't think he fancies him. He's had him out on loan a lot. He's not had much game time for me under Brad Arthur, and that's why I'm just going. If there's going to be a curveball when the teams come out shortly, the curveball could be that Ash Hanley's at full back and it's a Newman and Bird centre partnership. That'll be interesting. If it isn't that, and if it is young McCormack at full back, then Saints will want to pepper him. There's no question about that. And of course, if George Whitby is the man to come in to deputise for Jackson Hastings, who is out through his ban, I've seen enough of George Whitby's kicking game to suggest that he could put serious pressure on McCormack, and it'll be a very interesting game to see how that young man fares. He was very good against Huddersfield, but this is a step up.
Yeah, definitely. And it would be good to see Whitby come back in as well, to see him playing in the halves. Again, we always have the issue now with St Helens, but the problem with Wells being, what do you do? But yeah, it would be a massive shot of confidence for young Fergie if he does play in this game, and that's probably the reason why I probably don't see him playing in it. I could be completely wrong, but again, this is, like I said, this is a wounded Saints. They're going to have a major point to prove in this game, and especially again setting the marker down to go against it. And say Whitby, he will target, and the Saints in general, they will target any potential weak link or any inexperience to get the advantage.
Yeah, I think Saints will be a bit disappointed that they didn't manage to get Fafita over the line for this one. Clearly, that's not happening in time. Their middle unit, of course, Matty Lee's announced that he's off to PNG in 2028. That's a hammer blow, and of course, he's still missing through injury currently. The middle unit, this is an interesting one for St Helens. If you actually take a close look there at their middle unit, they're also missing Noah Stevens through HIA protocol for this one as well. So that middle unit of St Helens, I think Clemmer clearly will be used as a prop. We know Walmsley will be as well. Delaney clearly, of course, Parzy's now left. So I think that they've got a big job on. They've got a big job on of the Saints front row going into this game. For me, the way Leeds have been playing, I mean, let's take a look at the tail of the tape between the two. And this, again, we've got to remember these were first and second before round number 12. And of course, then Warrington took over in second place. But it's first against third. Now, both in great form. Both won 4 out of the last 5. But you can see it there, that the average for and the average against very much in the favour of Leeds. The 2-5 favourites, 7-4 the Saints. 33 points scored average for Leeds, 24 for Saints, and conceded 15 to Saints 20. I think they when you're this far into a season, those are 2 key KPIs. What's your average score? What's your average defence leaking? Because there's enough games now that have gone down the river for us to be able to look at that and go, that's a problem for Saints in this one. Leeds are scoring more consistently and are also conceding less.
Yeah, Leeds have just been fantastic this season. They've been one of the teams just to watch for what they can do. I mean, we obviously think back what they did in Vegas against Hull KR and what they've done in other games. Again, Huddersfield. I mean, I know Huddersfield weren't particularly great last time out, but the fact that they just ripped them apart was just a new one. And they've got that killer instinct now to not take the foot off the gas. I just don't know. I just think with Saints, there's just they're not the Saints that we're used to, and sometimes I just don't feel like they're finding that usual Saints flair that we're used to seeing from them. And again, 20 points is a lot for their Saints defence to be leaking. So I'm pretty sure that's probably one of the highest it's been in for multiple years for St Helens in their defensive points against.
Yeah, it's something that they've always prided themselves on. There's no doubt about it. And to be conceding 20 a game, that is something that they will want to shore up for sure. It's a fascinating game. It's a great game. What a great game to kick off round number 13. They very seldom under-deliver these games for me. They often do deliver. Ash Hanley's going to make his 250th appearance. He's only a try away from 500 Super League points as well. And if Johnny Lomax plays, he's going to make his 350th in Super League. Last year, tight games. They actually went head to head, unbelievably so. They met each other on 5 occasions in 2025. Saints won the first one 22-14. Then that was in the Challenge Cup. Then it's St James's Park 17-4 to Leeds. Then it was back to Saints 18-4 win at the Brewdog. And then Leeds 0, Saints 6 in round 18. Before, of course, that incredible elimination of Leeds by that wonder try, 16-14 in the playoffs. So Saints had the advantage over Leeds last year. They had they had really good wins against them, and again, that probably be added motivation for the Rhinos in this one.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to have to. They'll want to avenge the exit in the playoffs last season. Obviously, I think a lot of people were saying was probably one of the few teams that could have stopped Hull KR last year was Leeds. Obviously, Saints getting across there. I know from Volstagg would be a bit upset that he can't get Benison on a 1 week loan to find the try line. But yeah, it's one of these games. As soon as you hear Leeds and Saints, you just instantly get excited about it, and you instantly think, "Oh, this is going to be juicy." So yeah, what a way to kick off round 13 of Super League. Leeds and Saints. It couldn't be any better.
So which score are you going and who's winning?
I'm going Leeds by 8.
I've got Leeds by 14. So a little bit more than your good self, but we've both gone the Leeds Rhinos, and of course Craig and the Hooter boys, who are going to be together at Dewsbury for the Huddersfield game. But they will, of course, be doing the final Hooter, and they will be unwrapping all of those games for your trip to work on Monday morning. The final Hooter boys getting together to do that for us all. Before you go, Craig, it'd be amiss of me not to ask you. A lot of surprise. We spoke about it on Weekly on Tuesday. Junior Nsembe and in his pre-match press conference, Willie Peters have come out and said he's amazed that Junior Nsembe has not received a ban. As an absolute clear cherry and white, go on, your thoughts on Junior?
I don't think there's many Wigan fans that would have turned around and said Junior deserves to get off scot-free. I think as soon as we saw it and watching it back, I think every single one of us probably looked and thought Junior's getting something. When he didn't even get cited, there was a lot of Wigan fans, I think will be honest, breathed a sigh of relief because we're probably expecting Junior to be also joining Sam on the sideline for a few weeks there. I'm absolutely shocked that he didn't get cited. I think his prayer before the game probably helped him. Maybe who he was praying to helped him on that one, but it was very, very lucky. It was Junior in that sense, and there's no way anyone can excuse it. I don't think he was malicious. I thought I think it was just a rush of blood to the head which caused it. Because as soon as he done it, he looked at it and went, "What have I done?"
Well, that's the key.
Yeah,
that is the key. I think we said that on Weekly. That the two players' reactions. Sam Walters looked as if like, well, what's just happened? Whereas Junior Nsembe looked, oh God, what have I just done? The reactions of the players on that freeze frame is like, I know which player felt that they were did the most damage, and it weren't Sam Walters, was it?
No, it wasn't. I think Sam obviously started it, which is I think the RFL's decision was because he started it, and I think he caused the lift, which is why he was responsible, and that's why he's got the ban. But obviously I think it was Junior, to be fair, in all honesty, that came in and instigated and caused it worse than it was. I think for Sam Walters, I don't think he should be buying a beer for the rest of the season. I think Junior should be picking up his bar bill.
Well, absolutely. No doubt about that whatsoever. But hey, it's done, it's dusted, and let's be fair, yes, these things can happen on a rugby league field. Do I think that Junior Nsembe is that type of player? No, I do agree. I think it was just very, very miscalculated, albeit I think he should have been cited. He wasn't. That's been done. That's not the player's fault. And Junior's been in great form, and we need Junior in form with the World Cup at the end of the season. So I think we've said our piece on that now at Super League Roy. Is a very, very lucky boy is Junior Nsembe. Let's hope he's as lucky when it gets to the World Cup. On behalf of myself and on behalf of Craig, this has been the Captain's Run Round 13. Slightly different this week through pressures on time, but really appreciate Craig coming on and joining me for this edition. Enjoy your rugby league this weekend, and we will see you for the final Hooter this Monday morning, 6 a.m. Craig and the boys, make sure you tune in. Craig, thanks very much for your time.
You're welcome.